everybody, and welcome to the next installment of The Chaos Protocol, right here, right now, on Transplanar RPG. Whether you are tuning in for the first or 100th time, we are an all-transgender, people of color-led, dark fantasy actual play channel, telling stories set in an original, non-colonial, anti-Orientalist multiverse. This means we stand against genocide and ethnic cleansing, and support all oppressed peoples of this world struggling against injustice, imperialism, and colonization. Now more than ever, we must use our voices to build solidarity and fight for the worlds that we wish to see. So to that end, free Sudan, free DRC, free Palestine, free Venezuela, free Iran, and fuck US imperialism. As a channel created in Minneapolis, Minnesota, we stand in solidarity with our neighbors protesting in the streets. Abolish ICE until there is nothing left, not just in Minneapolis, but all across the US. Abolish the Imperial Project until there is nothing left. Free all oppressed peoples of this world. Thank you. And thank you all so much for showing up to support our story. It is time for us to get chaotic. If you're watching this right now, you are witnessing the live recording of Arc 4 Episode 22, the back half of our stream from last week. We are currently co-streaming this on Twitch and YouTube Live at Transplanar RPG, and all VODs will be hosted on our YouTube channel for your viewing pleasure before being uploaded to Vimeo and the Internet Archive. Now, this is the part of the stream announcements where I usually pass things along to my players to have them introduce themselves, but something happened earlier this week that we promised we would acknowledge this week, which is Valiant's birthday! Woot! Woot! So as per Transplanar tradition, Val, we will serenade you with our dulcet tones. A birthday dirge, one might say. So, all right, friends, live and in chat, please join us. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Victorian. Happy birthday to you. Amazing.
So that's what it feels like.
It's just a wall of sound. Just accept it. Just like a cacophony of noise all at one time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, our collective present to you, Val, is Sonic Blast Attack. So, happy birthday.
I accept it with love. Thank you. I love you all.
Love you, Val. Okay, it is time.
Yeah.
Mama. Wow, he bathed it and switched me. He came in here meow meow meowing. I thought he wanted to say happy birthday to Val, but then he ran away as I grabbed his butt. So with that, let's get introduction started, beginning with our very special Arc 4 guest, Dare Hickman.
Hi. How's it going? What a chaotic beginning already. Hi, hey, hello. My name is Dare. Pronouns she, they, they, and it. I'm just glad to be here. I play Zinnia, pronouns she, they, who is normal and well-adjusted. And I'm going to throw it over to Valiant Dorian, the birthday man.
Oh, it is me, Valiant Dorian, the birthday man. I use he, his pronouns. You can find me all across the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Onto Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just set you on. Tonight, I have the distinct pleasure of playing your favorite Doom Boy, Seir, who uses he, they pronouns. I'm going to pass it on over to Pop Pop. How you doing, Pop Pop?
Doing great. Hi everyone. I'm Kai. I use he, they, and she pronouns, and I am back playing Strike Team Nova's Pop Pop and resident of Keseki derogatory Mr. Zan and Esh, who uses he, him pronouns, and I'm gonna pass that on over to his beloved daughter. Sam, how's it going over there?
Hello, I am the beloved daughter that never gets told things like a daughter should. I'm Samstar, using she, they, and the occasional they pronouns. And tonight, I get to play everybody's favorite baby girl nightmare and dream woman, Lumira, who uses she, her pronouns. What's going on, boss? Hello, Mod Bow Bow. The man.
Bow Bow.
Bow Bow's going on is what's happening. He keeps meowing at me and looking at me very insistently. I think, yes, call him Producer C. There he goes, trotting. Oh my god, running. at Mach 4 speed running away when he heard C. But okay, Baba has a special thanks to give to our sponsors. That's right. He's starting off announcements by saying thank you to Hero Forge and the Working Families Party. Hero Forge is a website where you can design and print your very own custom miniatures. They also now offer 3D printed custom dice, which I think is pretty cool. You can put pretty much anything from Hero Frog into the clear material of the die and still get a perfectly weighted chunk of math rock. So visit Hero Forge today at bit.ly/transforge. Speaking of cool links you should click on, another one of our sponsors has an awesome call to action that you should definitely think about. The Working Families Party. They are a progressive third party in the United States building a multiracial coalition of working class people to make our communities a better place to live in for everyone. You can take an action to affect change right now by signing their petition to break up big media companies and join their mailing list at bit.ly/WFP trans. And finally, of course, a big ol' thank you to Che Peku for letting us use their scenes for this arc, as well as a thank you to Explain Trade and Frivolous Bear Studios for being our channel-wide sponsors. Over to you, Dare.
Hi, I'm Dare, allegedly. We're so excited to share that incredible game system for Arc 4, Force of Extinction, is now on BackerKit. Sign up for free to get your own quick start PDF of the game and be the first to know about the upcoming launch in May. Use ! System in the chat to check it out and help us support a great game of apocalyptic horror and survival. And over to you, Val.
Hello, folks. You know exactly what time it is. Fans of Transplanar, you can acquire fantastic merchandise over on transplanarrpg.shop or use !merch in chat to find apparel, home goods, and accessories that have been gorgeously designed. Y'all know what to do now. By my husband. Say it together.
Our husband.
Thank you all very, very much, including the limited time Connie Chung birthday tea. And we're also so excited to announce our collaboration with Die Hard Dice to bring you custom dice sets themed after each member of Strike Team Nova. Head on over to bit.ly/transDHD or use !DHD in chat to nab your very own set of Chaos dice. Over to you, Kai.
Another huge thank you to our Patreon precepts for supporting our show. Thank you to Azra, Brooke, The Bow System, Elvira, Mainman13, Mark J, Necessity, Robert Burke, Rose, Sergeant Danes, Spectra, Spencer, Taylor, Travis L, and Zoe. Join their illustrious ranks and help us smash our member milestones at patreon.com/transplanarrpg. Now, Sam, nothing's happened, right?
Of course not. Last time on the Chaos Protocol. Strike Team Nova witness an ambush ending in failure. They flee the brewing dust storm underground where they meet the Tears of Fuyumi, a revolutionary group fighting the oppressive extractionism of the Galactic Lords. Nova feels a kinship with the Tears, who allow them to stay after discovering the ship wasn't working for Buta Erebor. Lumira figures out Zinnia's identity as the last surviving member of Strike Team Sunrise and approaches her. And that's what you missed last time. Use !recap in chat to read our full written recap document and to the boss for some self-care tips.
That's right. So, as always, the Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that deals with content that may be triggering for some viewers. So, content warnings for our session tonight may include fantasy violence, grief, complex relationships, survival and scarcity, environmental collapse, apocalypse, tunnels, guns as weaponry, classism, youth in dangerous situations, and references to the loss of children and loved ones. No youth will be harmed in this episode. And now moving on to the title of tonight's episode, it is Time Rots the Tongue of Burden Found. From Waiting for the Moon to Burn by Connie Chung. And with that out of the way, let's begin. Zinnia, you are having that dream again. But this time, something's different. This is not a dream of what was. This is a dream of what could have been. You are in the office of the patron saint of mortals. Artemis is looking at you from across their desk, and there is a sadness in their eyes that never leaves, that you know intimately. When they speak, their words summon memories that are every bit as detailed and painful as the day you acquired them. It's been 9 years since that mission, she says. To the day. 9 years since you and Sunrise landed on that wasted planet. 9 years since a storm took Cherry. 9 years since Sochi died in your arms. 9 years since Juniper did the same, and you swore them an oath. This soulmate that you never got to love in the way that you both deserved. An oath that you would come home alive. An oath that you meant with every fiber of your heart. An oath that you kept. And now, in the present, the patron saint of mortals is offering you an opportunity, a new responsibility, the guidance of a freshly formed strike team, who would certainly benefit from the mentorship and wisdom of LSSG's de facto leader. What emotions are swirling through you, and how do you respond to the hand of fate's offer?
I think there is a mix of almost acceptance and gratitude at being asked this. Her heart almost feels a quickening, almost as if back on that planet just for a second, before thinking about everything that she's gained in those 9 years. She has managed to build relationships, she's managed to grieve, she's managed to find friends, and I think if you were to look at her hand, her left hand, her ring finger, she's even managed to find love in this world. And I think she nods gratefully at Artemis. Absolutely.
Artemis nods back. Those ill-fitting golden eyes, filled with so much emotion, yet calm as the surface of a moonlit lake. She knows, and you know, that you're ready. It's time. The dream begins to fade. These next details, you barely remember. A new look on Artemis's face now. Neither pride nor grief, but something that is both and also in between. And then the office door opening. People coming in. Syndicate recruits. Those brand new agents. 2 of them are, for some reason, familiar. Ah, yes, of course, you've seen them walking the halls of Trans. A barrel-chested boy with bright blue eyes, and the air of someone desperate to prove themselves at any cost. And a girl. An intelligent, whip-smart, bone-tired girl with a straight back and a golden hand. The third, you do not recognize, and you forget her face as soon as you wake up. But her eyes remain for a second longer, carved into your consciousness, until the dull light of the early Kesekin suns subsumes those irises of vivid, faded pink. Zinnia, when you open your eyes, you see the low-hanging canvas of your scavenged tent above your head. You can hear, fading into existence, the shuffling of the tears in camp all around you, the renegotiation of bodies, objects, patience. All that remains of Libra is, as usual, their belt. They always forget their damn belt. There's something else, too. Something different. Something new. Drifting on the desiccated wind is the smell of food. But it's not Bagoon. You know Bagoon's cooking, and this is decidedly not him. Zan and Esh. What are you cooking for breakfast?
The problem with scavenged cooking is that you can't be that picky. And Zynon has been relying on Bagoon, who has been, of course, the stalwart keeper of the camp for the Tears of Fuyumi. But he wanted to put some special influence on the scavenged roots and dried, desiccated remains of food that they can find, and of course rations that are scattered among it all. And so as best as he can, Zynon is trying so hard to reach into his memory of food that he used to cook, which he has attempted at Trans, that he has cooked in Inferno. But all of those were never quite right either. So he is used to adapting the flavor he is searching for. Simple farm breakfast. Eggs are almost impossible to come by now, so it's, seared in a wok that's barely a carved piece of metal. But he is dreaming of standing in the kitchen at the Lodestar Steading, picking the food out of the pan as Dom shoos him away. And he is hoping that this food brings with it the memories that he so fondly thinks of whenever he makes the attempt. Because he's cooked in that kitchen his whole life until he didn't anymore. And every meal he cooks, he wishes it were that kitchen, that flavor of home. And maybe that's enough today. Maybe that will bring them out of this freeze between him and Azali's raid.
There is a sizzling noise of whatever you were able to find that was the closest to a farm breakfast about the various rations you and the Tears have pulled together over the course of these almost 2 weeks now. The sizzling noise, the smell of food drifting throughout camp. And as you work what is essentially a crude, rudimentary hot plate over now burning embers of this campfire, the smoke and the smell drifts across this space, reaching every single member of the Tears, as well as the members of Strike Team Nova. And Seir, it is this smell as well that suffuses the morning air for you. And as has become routine for you, you have woken up early to train with Bug, of course, your willing and eager new mentee. What is the drill we find you putting Bug through now, in this early morning period?
In this early morning period, we can find Seir sat cross-legged in the middle of, what degree of empty space we're able to have here at camp. And the drill that I have set for Bug is very simple. This is not a space that can host drills like we have back at Trans. There's no endless dummies to hit. There's no swinging accoutrement to test speed and agility. Seir has to dig deep here, and there's an old memory of the patron saint of Artemis setting a very simple simple test for Seir. The test? Touch them. However means they're able to. Just touch them. And Seir, that sits cross-legged, puts his head into the palm of his hand and goes, 1, 2, 3. Waiting for Bug.
And already dripping in sweat from its previous multiple failed attempts, letting out a now careless and slightly frustrated yell, Bug charges forward at you. And as Bug rushes at you, we pan across this empty space you found a few yards away from the main hubbub of camp to find Lumira. Lumira, if the smell of Zainan's breakfast hasn't woken you at this point, then Bug's increasingly louder and louder yells certainly do. As you have risen from your bedroll, you notice in the midst of your own morning routine, Libra Dunnan, sitting on a nearby rock, cleaning their rifle. Why do you decide to approach them this particular morning?
I've seen them a few times around, going over a couple of drills, practices, things that I've worked on with Simon a few times. I just got a couple adjustments, that's all.
Absolutely. So it is with rifle, gun, and practice in mind, I'm sure, and nothing else, that you approach Libra.
Of course.
And they look up as they sense your presence, eyes flashing with recognition. Ever since that moment with the rest of the archive crew, and you had revealed that vulnerability about yourself, Libra and you had seemed to feel a kind of connection between the two of you. And there's a nod as Libra acknowledges your approach. But at this point, we pan back to you, Zinan. You are putting the finishing touches on your breakfast now, and a small crowd has come out of their tents and begun to gather around the fire, expectant of food. Bagoon has very jovially and good-naturedly allowed you to take over breakfast duties for today, as agreed upon. And he stands nearby, hands propped on his hips, kind of looking over your ministrations of his beloved hot plate. That looks pretty good. I mean, given what you were able to work with.
It's no Haruna Valley breakfast, but it's a start.
Ah, Haruna Valley. I'm not as familiar with the geography of Keseki. You know, my home planet is Datu, but that's in the south of Keseki, right? River Valley. With a lake. Many lakes, yes?
Big one used to be one, became a few, you know. And he lets that trail off that you know he doesn't feel for once like he needs to explain it. Because everyone here knows. Like, truly knows.
Bagoon nods. You see remembrance flickering in his eyes from perhaps one of Sorrel's many, many info dumps over the course of this mission. And he says, curiously, so, what's the idea behind this breakfast, then?
Well, traditionally, it's done with raptor eggs and, onions from the garden. But we ain't got no raptors, let alone eggs, so making do.
Oh, so that's why you've kind of shaped the meat and looking like that. Oh, I see. And there's not exactly any vegetables, in these hardtack rations. Is that supposed to be an onion?
I was hoping it had close enough of a flavor. Retooling this stuff doesn't always go the same way, and flavor is really hard to replicate.
Right. Well, food's food. Protein's protein.
Sure
No one's gonna turn this down, of course.
And, I don't know. I wanted to chip in a little.
Well, your attempts are very much appreciated. All right, everyone, breakfast is ready. And the rest of the tiers begin to gather around with their own plates, taking from the main hot plate their own apportioned servings. As folks start coming out and taking food, you notice that among them is no shaved head, no scarred face, no set shoulders, no sweeping duster. Ozel's raid markedly does not approach the breakfast hot plate, but you do see them, as always, early to rise out of everyone, late to go to bed out of everyone as well, on the corner of camp, already fully dressed, looking north, ready to go.
It has been a week, and Zynon is a observant learner, and always has been. He knows that Ozel doesn't come to breakfast. And so, he hatched a plan. Beginning with a few days ago, mentioning to Begoon that he used to cook at home. Talking about his capacity to cook even with scant rations. And slowly yet surely volunteering for this exact duty so that he can scoop 2 plates. One for himself, and one reasonably, amiably, for Ozel's raid.
As you fix yourself 2 plates and start to walk in the direction of Ozel's raid, you feel a gentle but firm hand on your shoulder from Begoon. And you hear words next to you as he says, you know, Zynon, as the usual resident cook of the tiers, just maybe just a well-meaning, well-intentioned word of advice about cooking on Keseki nowadays. There's very little left on this world, as you and I both know, and I have found that perhaps the most efficient and compassionate way to approach this is to make the most out of the ingredients we do have. You know, accepting what's in front of us. And honoring the things that are in the present, at hand now, instead of trying to force an impossible dish out of nothing. Does that make sense?
And Zynon at first does not catch on, and then as Begoon continues to attempt this kind gesture, Zynon turns his ears off. He cannot hear. He has been advised in every shade by everyone in the tiers to stop trying, and he cannot hear it. And he cordially, kindly, because he understands that Begoon means well, but Ozel's raid and him have history that these people do not. And he nods his head. I hear you, but sometimes you gotta try to make a little more out of what you got.
Fair enough, Begoon says in a tone of voice that sounds a lot like your funeral, and lifts his hand from your shoulder. And as you go to approach Ozel's raid, Jack approaches Begoon. Though you don't hear what she says, she does remark to her close friend, "You tried." And Begoon looks down with sharp, incisive eyes at Jack, who steadily avoids his gaze. And Zynon, you approach Ozel's raid. They do not turn around to face you. They do not make a noise of acknowledgement. It is as though, as always, you do not exist.
He has accepted that this is likely the reception he would get. But Zynon used to acclimate animals. Untrained raptors. He would go into other farms and help them tend their flocks. He is used to having to wait out someone's temperament. So he has no expectation. the only expectation he has is to bring them a plate of food and hope that they remember this. And if it opens more doors in this moment, he can't help but hope. He can't help but hope that this might be the time that they smile, that there's a glimmer of that Azalis raid, that he never had to worry about whether or not they would take this food. Of course they would. They were family. But here and now, he only has this small gesture as he is trying so hard to give them the space that they are looking for. But they are in a small group of people, and the whole journey revolves around this one person in his mind right now. And so he just quietly walks up and holds the plate out. Breakfast?
There is a long pause. For a moment there, you think you're just going to have to keep playing this game of statue until the rest of camp packs up and you all start continuing your journey. But then, right on the edge of when silence and stillness start to become unbearable, without turning their head to face you, Azalis Raid takes the plate, but with the same motion begins to walk in a different direction, a direction you've seen them rarely go when it comes to the orientation of camp. Do you follow?
I think yes, he tries to not follow, but this is not what he expected in any way. So he is not waiting for permission per se, but also very ready for them to just walk away from him and for him to let it go in this moment. He has no idea what's happening.
Okay, so you follow Azalis Raid, who holds this plate as though it were a bomb or some other dangerous device that they are not afraid to let go off in their hand. And they walk the circumference of the camp until they reach the place where Nose Mama is currently slumbering, laid down with her huge lizard-like chin on the ground. They wrap the fingers of their free hand on that stag beetle-like horn on Nose Mama's forehead, and the huge lizard-like creature slowly blinks its eyes open, and still half asleep opens up its mouth as Azalis Raid tosses your food into her gullet as though she were a garbage disposal, and then shoves the plate back into your hands without looking at you and says, "I'm not one of your damn raptors," and strides off.
He holds his plate untouched, their plate, and watches Nose Mama swallow and just sinks a little deeper into a moment of despair before, no. We've come this far. We've come this far. They're not a raptor. And he owes them more than that, and he will figure out how to do better.
Lumira, you and Libra and pretty much everyone else in camp saw this happen, heard what Ozel said, and now see Zan and Esh, your pop-pop, standing there, 2 plates in his hand. One full of food, one empty. Libra, on the boulder next to you, lets out a low... He just really doesn't know how to take a hint, huh?
Lumira sits back, trying her very hardest to act as if her attention is on her plate and not at what she just witnessed. Lumira gets it, but doesn't. More on the lines of doesn't. She's never been this down bad for somebody before. She's never not like this. Don't give me that. Not like this. Well, shit. At least the person that she was down bad for actually wanted to speak to her.
Damn!
So, it's really kind of like sitting there of like shock and quite a bit of secondhand embarrassment that she can't really grapple with right now. So she just looks up at Zynon briefly, her eyes wide and sad, a bit pleading. But Zynon is nothing but stuck in his ways. And what else is there but more secrets? So she kind of just puts her head back down into the plate. She tried.
Soon after both you and Libra finish up breakfast, they put their gun rag away, kind of check down the scope of their rifle, nod to themselves, and they start to stand and give you a nod as well. And they go, I'm gonna get some shooting practice in before everyone starts walking. And they start to turn and walk a little downrange away from camp.
Hey, So, I was supposed to meet with Zynon later, but it looks like he's a bit busy at the moment.
Okay.
Remember when I said he was teaching me how to shoot?
Oh, right. Yeah, him and that rifle of his, huh? Bolt action? Looks nice.
It's... I'm still kind of getting used to the recoil on it, but, you know, maybe if you're, like, not busy or something, you could show me a thing or two?
Huh. You know what? I've got time now. Come on.
I wasn't expecting right now, but...
Well, sooner better than later, right? Come on.
Alright. And she kind of picks up the little practice rifle that she has been practicing with. Sinks it over his shoulder and follows.
Okay. As you and Libra trot off to a safe distance away from camp, where you can still perceive everyone else, but be far away enough that your bullets won't hurt them, we pan across this desiccated, dry vista to find Bug leaping out from behind a pair of rocks, launching their frail body toward Seir, a fist cocked back, trying to nail you somewhere on that large target that is your bulwark of a body.
No. Again.
They fly right past as you dodge. They hit the dirt, but to their credit, they scramble back on their feet, kind of doing a slide and a skirt, and they claw back up using their hands and knees, and they launch themselves back at your back.
You're fast. Okay. And he spins around, and each time that Bug is swinging, Seir is taking note of what's not working. And Seir has drawn two conclusions. One, Bug, when Bug gets close, is in incredible mortal peril at whoever is their target. Even when Bug steps super close, they are almost immediately, and I think we see it, like, Bug tries to, like, aim at Seir's back, and they are, like, inches away from Seir, and Seir is able to, like, step back. But Seir could have easily shoved them aside, even if they did land that blow. And then the other concern is, well, not concern, but a cool observation. Bug is really fast. And I think we see Seir kind of like duck out of the way. It's like, good. Let's do that again. Couple of inches faster, right? Come on.
It's hard. We've been doing this for hours, for days. I still can't hit you.
Seir stops. You still can't hit me. And he like presses his lips against his fingers, chewing on that thought. Little Cricket, when you want to fight me, what are you thinking of when you're trying to hit me?
That I just want to hit you?
Okay, that's an answer. But is there a way you'd prefer to hit me? Are you thinking about where I'm looking? Do you prefer, I don't know, coming at me from the shadows? Do you prefer, I don't know, just hitting the daylights out of me? What are you thinking?
I don't know. And Bug sits down in a frustrated and discouraged lump, covered in sweat, panting, also covered in dust. All of these questions you're asking me, I get that they're important, I guess, and you know how you were asking me before, why am I fighting? Why am I fighting? What's the point of all this? And that's easy. I want to protect the Tears. I want to protect Nose Mama. Knowing why I want to fight is easy, but how do I want to do it? What am I fighting for? More than just the Tears? More than Nose Mama? I don't know. I don't know.
Seir furrows his brow. He kind of like crouches to a squat to look Bug in the eye. Cricket, when I'm asking you this, I'm not expecting like one correct answer. I'm just and realization dawns in Seir's mind of the many questions Artemis asks of him that feel impossible to answer, that feel out of his reach. Frustrating. Before he sighs again, chewing on that realization of how much patience Artemis must have definitely had for him and his particular tutelage. And he softens at Bug, puts his big hand on top of Bug's head, and then leans his forehead against theirs. Hey. You're doing good. I'm not expecting a correct answer. Okay? All I want
So, wrong
is for you to
answers
just
are
keep...
okay?
Wrong answers are okay. I don't know is okay. And I'm still figuring out is okay.
But you're so smart. You know so much, and you know how to fight in ways I've never seen anyone fight before. I mean, everyone here just fights to, I guess, live, and sometimes they just kill people, which is fine. You know, sometimes people have to die so we can live. I get that. I understand that. But you fight in a different way, and I like the way you fight. It's cool, and what do you think I should do? How do you think I should fight? I'll just do what you say.
Seir flashes back to a moment in the darkness where he feels something warm creeping down his face and the sound of the last gasp of someone innocent who had just stepped in the way of his reactions. And Seir steps back to look at Bug and actually hear the tail end of Bug's answer. No. And Seir's Damocles blade begins to snap down and spear him through the chest. No, that's not how it works, okay? And Seir avoids that. He doesn't want to tell Bug what to do, because he's not worthy to tell Bug what to do. And Seir just like still holding onto Bug's forehead and says, We will figure it out together. It's fine, and you shouldn't be just like me.
Is it because you're an adult and I'm a kid and you're a lot bigger than me?
No, you need to be better than me.
Better? Like,
Yes.
better at fighting?
Better at
Because
everything.
I'll get there. What? I don't get it. What do you mean?
And Seir does not know how to answer that. Not right now. Not like this. So instead, he just ruffles Bug's head before standing up and looking at it and saying, "Stand over there. I want to test something." And as soon as Bug does that, continuing to avoid that question for now, Seir will measure Bug by finger spans and by the grappling rope, and will percolate on what Bug will need to sort of change their disadvantage to an advantage. And there goes, okay. You haven't eaten. We've been at this since dawn. Go and eat.
Okay, food time! And that is the only thing that can break them from the intense focus of training is food. As soon as you release them for breakfast, they turn around and they toward the center of camp. Where you hear them go,
What am I-
What? Knows Mama ate before me?
What am I doing? Seir kind of like crosses his arms, watching Bug dart off. What in oblivion am I doing?
We pan across this space now to find you, Zinnia. Of course, you have long since emerged from your tent, and you have witnessed everything that there is to witness around the campfire, around Zynan's breakfast, around the rejection of said breakfast from Ozel's raid, and of course, around Libra Dunnan and Lumira walking off for rifle lessons, and Bug returning excitedly to lick the plates of whatever scraps remain around the campfire. Where do you find your focus being drawn to? And in particular, as Zynan stands there with 2 plates in his hands, what's going through your mind?
I think there is a bit more disarray than I was expecting with the arrival and addition of Nova. While when it's good, it's great. Bug has been doing wonderfully and has taken very well to Seir. I think Lumira has been great with the Archivist, with Siral and Dr. Wu. And Zynan has been there. There's somebody who I find the most interesting, who I always see sort of struggling to find their place. Yingha.
Yingha this morning has just finished their plate of rations as well. They are sitting beside Dr. Wu and poring very interestedly over various archival records while they are helping Dr. Wu pack up their own tent.
I think Zinnia walks over. There's not a real agenda in their mind as they move over there. They are just curious. Zinnia's always had this curiosity, and sometimes she can't help but indulge. I think after maybe a minute or two of just watching, sort of clears her throat, make her presence known.
So this area was known as the Centipede? Yes, my dear, it was, and it... Ah, Zinnia, good morning.
Morning, Doctor.
Good morning, Zinnia.
Yingha, I was wondering if maybe we could talk for a second.
Me? Yinghe had been in the middle of standing up to give you and Dr. Wu alone time, assuming that you had approached them for her and not him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll be back to help you finish picking up Dr. Wu. Oh, no, don't worry about that. Take all the time you need, dearies. And Yinghe follows you to a more isolated part of camp.
Yeah. I think it is over by Zinnia's tent. I think there is a good berth given to it, because everyone knows Zinnia doesn't really want to be messed with unless there's something on fire. I think there's maybe just a makeshift little spot to sit down over there.
Mhm.
And Zinnia sort of takes a seat and offers to Yingha.
Oh, thank you. They sit uncertainly, as though they're not sure if they're in trouble or not. And the way they regard you, you notice, is as though you were the leader of the Tears, even though it is a really clear part of the Tears' organizational structure to not have specific formal leaders. And still, she looks at you as though you are a lighthouse amidst these folk.
How have you been settling in?
Great. All of the Tears are very welcoming. And you all really know what you're doing, which is nice. I've been learning a lot from all of you. Different things. History and archival research from Soral and Dr. Wu. How to cook and survive. And I guess sing certain kinds of songs from Begun. Nose Mama has been nice to be around as well.
I think Zinnia nods, just taking all of that in, and sort of waits a second and speaks. Zinnia's not the type to introduce a conversation like this, and I think she's also sort of navigating how to approach it. I see. Have you found yourself leaning any particular way, finding comfort in any sort of position here? I want to make sure everybody feels like they can help whatever works best.
I'm sorry if I haven't been pitching in enough. I apologize.
That's not
I've
what
been
I
trying
said. It's not what I said.
I suppose I enjoy helping scout with Libra when I've had the chance to. People and animals too tend not to notice me unless I want them to notice me. And I tend to notice things that other people don't pick up on usually, I guess. But that's gotten me in trouble before. I used to just say whatever came to my mind, but since traveling with Nova a little bit more, I've learned that maybe sometimes it's better to keep things to myself.
Y'all big on secrets?
You know exactly whose face springs to mind for Yinghe in that moment, even though you've only known this person for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And Yinghe says, I didn't used to think so, but now I'm not so sure.
Yeah. I am sorry for any trouble y'all have had since landing.
It's not like you are the dust or the people that killed this planet. So there's nothing for you to be sorry for.
More about acknowledging the hardships y'all must have faced. It feels like you may have went in a little underprepared.
Yes, I wasn't sure what to expect here, based on everything Zion had told us about Keseki so far, which was not nothing, I suppose. But the degree of everything that had happened to his home, I don't think any of us were prepared for that. Maybe not even Zion.
I see.
But he
If I
survived the first time, I think. You know, I'm not too sure. I don't really know what happened.
How well do you know the rest of your team?
Well, pretty well. Almost a year is... Wow, a year, is that right? Something like that. Time is weird, given everything we've done. You know the Syndicate. Time moves in funny ways between worlds. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but a little while. They've all known each other for almost their entire lives, though. For a really long time. They have a lot of history with each other, in different ways. And she was close to all of them.
The one who passed, right?
Yes. The chosen one. Sing. They
Chosen.
saved me.
They nod at that. A name. They haven't heard the phrase chosen one in a long, long time. It wasn't something she put too much personal stock in. But Juniper did. Constantly liked the idea of like these two perfect people, a sort of measuring stick to aspire to be better than. And it sort of hits deep in the chest for a split second that she just sort of pushes away with like a quick, sharp exhale. I am. If this isn't sounding a little too rude, why'd you stay?
Because... And you see a taken aback look on Yingha's face. Not stunned necessarily by the directness of the question, but because it wasn't anything they've ever deeply thought about until this moment, until recently. Silver eyes flashing, they blink briefly and they say, because I like them. Because I love them. And I think they love me too. And I want to be there for them in the same way they've been there for me. And I want to be able to help people in the same way that I've seen them help people like me. That's why I've stayed. That's why I'm still here.
Well, I understand that. I get it. If you are ever finding yourself in a position where maybe you don't necessarily feel like that is reciprocated, there's always room in the tears.
Oh. And Yinghe looks at the camp, where the tears are hustling and bustling, packing up tents, getting ready for travel for the day. And then you see their eyes linger on each member of their strike team. Lemira going off, with Libra, Seir returning from training with Bug, and Zion, plates in hand. And you see in those eyes deep, deep care. Despite everything Nova has been through. Deep attachment, deep love and connection. You see that that's where their heart is. But they do not immediately say no. When they turn back to you, in fact, they say, "Thank you for that, Zinnia. That means a lot. I'll think about it."
Zinnia nods. Closer to a smile you get out of Zinnia, I think maybe a soft chuckle. And Yeah. I'll talk to Libra too. Make sure you get a time to do some scouting with them. They can be
I would like that.
abrasive, but I think y'all work well.
That's okay. Seir was really abrasive for a long time, but I kind of liked it.
All right. And I think Zinnia doesn't end on like a big moment. Sort of just stands up and offers a hand up to Yingha.
Yingha takes it and returns with you back closer toward the center of camp. And as the two of you return to the rest of the Tears, we pan several yards away to find Libra and Lumira. Lumira, Libra has asked you to show them what you know. And so with your training rifle in hand, you do your best, of course, to express the lessons of shooting that Zynon had attempted to impart upon you. So tell me, what is the way in which you hold this rifle, and when you squeeze the trigger, are you able to hit the mark several dozen feet away that Libra had set?
Lumira holds the rifle mimicking what Zynon has taught her, a little bit looser in her body stance, but she's still tense in her shoulders, like she's bracing for that recoil before she even pulls the trigger. And she looks super focused. Very focused. So when she takes a deep exhale and right as she's pushing out that last bit of air, pulls the trigger, it doesn't directly hit the target, like the dead center of the target, but it's kind of wide. It hits it. It's better than previous
attempts. Yeah. Yeah, you've definitely had some improvement, a little bit of improvement at this stage. You squeeze the trigger, there's a loud bang, and the bullet hits right, like a couple of inches, maybe half a foot off from dead center of the target, but within its vicinity for sure. And Libra watches you from the side as you do this, and as you start to lower the rifle, they say, no, wait, keep it up, but don't shoot again. Yeah, just let me see your form here. So
okay.
It was Zynon, you said, that taught you how to shoot, huh?
Yeah. It was Zynon.
And how long ago? Like, what? A few weeks, few months?
It's only been a couple of weeks. She's trying so hard to keep her focus down the barrel of this gun right now.
I see. Well, listen. Your form is good. Obviously, this Esh fellow knows what he's doing. And I've seen the way he holds his gun. He's a crack shot, I can tell. Even all the way from here. But,
the best
you know,
I
to be...
really.
But, you know, to be honest, the way you're holding it so tightly, you're bracing for recoil, right?
Yeah, it almost took my shoulder out the first time.
Oh, yeah, it'll do that to you sometimes. Some of these guns have more kick than others. But, of course you want to brace, but you don't want to... How do I put this? Your mechanics are basically picture perfect. Let's say it's textbook. Like your elbows in the right position, shoulders square, the way you're looking down the barrel, just not a single flaw. But I guess it's the affect? Like, the way, the...
Why don't you just show me, Libra?
Sure. And Libra, in one fluid motion, lifts their own gun up, barely sights down the scope, pulls the trigger, and hits dead center. Just like in one gesture. And hits. And without skipping a beat in their sentence, they say, I guess it's more like vibes. Yeah, the vibes of how you're holding the gun. Yeah. Because you're holding on to it like it's the last thing you're gonna hold in your entire life, you know? Like there's so much sentimentality attached to it, I guess. But it's not your fault, you know? I mean, you're brand new at this. I guess you learned it from the guy who taught you. But I like to hold these things, these guns, these weapons, these tools, like exactly what they are. They're tools, right?
Tool.
And yes, Lumira, you remember what Zynon had said to you about how he held the gun, that it was a shield. Do you share Zynon's lessons with Libra in this moment? And if so, what exactly do you say about what you're trying to learn about shooting?
Someone told me once that this was a shield.
A shield! And I assume that someone is Esh?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I don't necessarily disagree with the guy. Sure, it's a shield, but depending on how you use it, I guess it could be a sword, too, or a hammer. Man, I wish
Or a
mine could be a
deflection.
pack of smoke sometimes. Yeah. But honestly, I'm kind of surprised to hear that that's what he told you, because the way you're holding it is less like a shield and more like, I don't know, like, you know, in a survival situation, before I was able to catch a shuttle off world, and now that we've been back here a few months, this thing, this gun, it's a means to an end, not the end itself. And a shield is also a means to an end, right? We don't give a damn if the shield itself gets busted, broken. Hell, who cares? As long as the thing behind it is safe, we'll just pick up a different shield, keep going. Can't be attached to what, I guess, the shield itself is. You know what I mean? Otherwise, we'll cling too tightly to things that are ephemeral, that don't really exist anymore. You know? Like this gun that I'm using, I've had it for, what, 8 weeks? My previous gun that I actually brought to this world, I fucking lost it in a dust storm, and we found this, we scavenged it, actually, stroke of luck. And I can use all kinds of guns, you know? Was I sad that I lost the other gun? Sure, yeah, it was a great piece of work, but this one serves me just fine. These guns, they're not what's important. It's what we can do with them, that is.
Well, I want to protect my family. So learn I
Yeah.
do. And Lumira will pick the rifle back up with a lot less tension in her upper shoulders.
That's good. Yeah, see, that's great. Yeah, hold it like you're shooting to survive. And that sometimes means it's gotta be a shield. Sometimes that means it's gotta be a sword, sure. But I guess you shouldn't just say it's always a shield if that's not how you're actually using it. Know what I mean? Because then you're basically a hypocrite.
Yeah. A lot of that recently. She says that voice dripping in sarcasm and saccharine.
You see Libra cock an eyebrow as they continue to teach you proper form, their version of form, the relaxation, less so form and more so approach, emotionality, the purpose and philosophy behind shooting. And with that, Strike Team Nova, Tears of Fuyumi, eventually the two of your groups pack up the rest of camp, and you set out on foot to continue your journey northward after everyone returns to the central hub. And as you continue your sojourn toward the garden, you enter a new part of Keseki that you'd not visited before. You see, before the dust, this planet was famous for its short, scorching days and very long, dangerous nights. And nowhere on Keseki was the darkness and chillness of night more pronounced than the prefecture of of Sumatay. White-crested volcanoes loomed like gentle giants over stolid, glacial lakes. Dense snowbanks blotted out all sound until the world became a muted landscape of icy whites, forest browns, and auroran neons. Straw-thatched houses with bones hewn from hardy pine dotted the alpine slopes. The buildings of each highland village arranged in traditional spiral patterns, with protruding thorns to confuse and repel malevolent spirits. In the frigid reaches of Kesaki's northernmost prefecture, the suns sank first and rose last out of everywhere else. The days here were brief apoplexies of light that perforated the frozen branches of Sakhalin spruce, and the nights were unforgiving, merciless, especially in the winter. Each year, well over 80 feet of snowfall visited the peaks and valleys of Yaminoba, the volcanic mountain range that spanned the prefecture. These mountains are long dead. The snow is long gone, as are the foxes and moths and fish owls that nestled within it. The dense, fluffy banks that once covered every inch of Sumatay are now replaced by loose, shearing masses of choking gray dust. Strike Team Nova. Your second week of travel with the Tears of Fuyumi takes you from the coastline of Okanai into the mountainous reaches of northern Kesaki. The ground beneath your feet becomes more and more rugged, elevated, difficult to traverse until the empty basin of the ocean to your left lurches out of sight, obscured by rising mounds of stone, hard earth. Hills and valleys rise and dip all around you until your party is no longer walking, but hiking, and your pace necessarily slows down. More frequent rests become required, and Libra is still confident that this is the correct direction, but they begin to scout ahead more, climb hills, orient themselves in the changing landscape. The ghost of the perennial winter that once blanketed this entire region still lingers here. This place is colder than anywhere else you've been so far, and the dust on the distant slopes almost looks like snow. At night, the echo of the northern lights wavers in the atmosphere high above the planet's storms, a shimmering neon glow barely visible through hazy clouds of ever-present dust. Color at last, just out of reach. As the second week dawns, how do each of you conduct yourselves during travel, and who do you find yourselves spending the most time with over the course of the week? Let's start with you, Zinnia.
I've noticed the way each member of Nova's been moving. And I think it hasn't affected how most of the tiers have been acting, with the exception of Libra. So I think I'm going to go check in and see how they're doing.
Okay, you are going to find Libra. What about you, Zynon? Oh, I think you're muted.
Zynon is having quite an experience hiking through these mountains. He is suddenly at odds with the truce, his own memory and experiences, and somewhere in the middle, how he actually is. Because the last time he went climbing mountains, it was really hard. And yes, of course, when he went into physical therapy after getting bashed in the head by a hammer of creation, by a forge master god in the city of heaven, he did get on a bike He did the most training he's practically ever done outside of his field agent training at Trans. But he's never thought of himself as particularly capable of athletics, of long distance hiking and climbing and things like that. He, could handle himself short runs and long walks, but hiking is a different skill. And this time he experiments with that strange measure of undeath, of remembering what it feels like to be a ghost haunting his own body as he thinks about his form on the ground that Naeem shunted him out of in Inferno. And he goes looking to chase that distant echo where his heartbeat is as they climb, and he finds that there is a boon to being in tune with that, to being in tune with how he actually is. He could just walk and not need to worry about the thinness of the air at all. So he enjoys the walk and begins to keep a curious eye towards Nova drifting towards different parts of the Tears. He notes who they've become close to, and he begins to feel this burr stuck in him about Ozel's rejections and trying to figure out what he would have done before to mend something this fractious between them.
Okay. And what about you, Seir? How do you spend your travel, and who do you spend it with the most?
Gotta follow up that. Seir spends a lot of time with Bug. That is no secret. The training does not cease. Just the answer that Bug is seeking out of Seir is the only thing that still dangles in the air. And throughout the journey and the hiking, Seir's been observing the Tears, observing Nova, seeing Yingha taking on more scouting missions, watching Lumira wield a gun with a bit more confidence each time. And Zynon. Is he not breathing again? And as Seir's filtering about what the thing that he's been asking Bug to do more and more recently is random innocuous things, like grab that stick and throw it at that tree. Yeah, no, long range is not for you. How about use this bar and swing forward? Nope, no, now you're tangled in that again. Okay, no, let's not do that. And Seir's experimenting, and each step he watches the little cricket take in finding their place, he finds himself mirroring the Great Huntress. How she must have observed him stumbling over a large great sword, having to work on a war bow, realized that at one point he stopped using it for long distance and started whacking people with the war bow instead. Remembering that he once wielded a polearm. He was decent at it, but definitely far too much reach for where he really wanted to go and what he really wanted to do. And for all that trouble, Seir has got one thing: proficiency in various weaponry. And as he's just watching Bug do this, his nights are spent alone, forging, tinkering, finding loose materials to make something just for Bug.
And what about you, Lumira? How are you spending travel, and to whom do you gravitate?
I think Lumira keeps it keeps it cute, keeps it tight to just specifically who she's been talking to as of right now. She's still observing the rest of the Tears. She hasn't worked up the courage? No, I don't think that's it. I think she's just making sure that she is as far away from Ozel as possible right now. Something that, I wish the rest of Nova would heed, but not everybody, operates on the same wavelength. So she spends her time with Dr. Wu in the archives, I think. She does still come to Zion for lessons, but it's a bit more clipped now, Zai. The warmth is there, but it don't reach her eyes all the way. You see her with Libra a bit more, talking to Yingha every now and then. She tends to sleep near Yingha at night. They've shared a room for so long now at this point that I think it's almost second nature. It's natural for her to gravitate towards Yinghe at night. Yeah, and I think she's just trying to find bits and pieces of where she can help with, of course, medical stuff, reminding everyone to try to stay as hydrated as possible, to breathe through their nose as we're getting higher up and the air is getting thinner. Little ways to help mitigate the lack of oxygen and the sickness that can come with it when you're hiking. Things like that. Keeping herself busy and useful. Always a go-to.
Okay. With all of that established, let's start with you, Zinnia. There is a conversation, at least one, probably more than one, that has been hanging over you and Libra for some time now. And every day that it goes undiscussed, it seems to grow heavier and heavier and thornier between the two of you. So if it's okay with you, Zinnia, I think this conversation happens in your tent. After, Libra is sitting up next to you, stretching, lightly doused in sweat, rather undressed. But relaxed. This is the only time, really, that they actually allow themselves to relax, to drop their guard, their walls, which are usually up so high and so completely that they can barely see the sky beyond them. But now those walls are down. You see a side of Libra that very few others, even amongst the Tears, have seen. A softer side, a more vulnerable side. A side that allows itself to actually feel more than just prickly anger, disgust, upsetness, disappointment. But other things as well. Things that are harder for them to feel outside of this tent. What about you, Zinnia? How are you usually after you and Libra have been intimate?
Zinnia is, I think, already back in shorts. Shirt still off. Ring around their necks still. I think they're still laying back, looking up, sort of not meeting Libra's gaze, looking over a few times, but mostly trying to avoid it. I think they know there's something that needs to be said, and it has been hanging around like so badly. And I think they've both tried to initiate it a couple of times, and it never quite happens, and they both fall asleep. And by the time they wake up, one of them has already left. So this is... I think Zinnia's fiddling almost with the ring around her neck. As like a thing she does when I think at the most intimate she'll ever see her.
There's a brief quiet between the two of you, as there usually is, after you settle down from your activities. And tell me, Zinnia, this time, the time that it actually sticks, is it you or is it Libra that speaks first?
I think it's Zinnia.
Okay.
I think Zinnia, after taking a second and deciding how to approach, I think is inelegant as they normally are. So, how are you feeling about that new group who's been working with us?
They're cool, I guess. Lemira is smart and looks sad a lot of the time, I think. Seir, I'm glad Bug's got a mentor. The guy really knows what he's doing. You know, he hits hard, like a truck, but moves with restraint, too. Not really something you'd expect from a guy of his build. As for the one with the silver eyes, she's cool, too. Good scout. It was a good idea, you know, bring her along with me. I thought he'd slow me down, but actually, he keeps up pretty well. I'm impressed. Wasn't expecting that from them. And Ash, he just doesn't know when to quit. And at first I thought it was puppy love, you know? Someone just pining over someone else, but I don't know. It's more than that, isn't it? And they ask that last question not as a rhetorical, but as a directed question to you, as though you have the answer.
I'm not quite sure. I know it's strong, at least on one end. But I'm not quite sure.
Really? You know, I find that a little hard to believe, Zin.
What do you mean?
What is it really about me? What's the reason?
What do you mean?
That you're not telling me? Just tell me. I can take it. Is it that I'm too annoying? What, too rough around the edges? Not funny enough?
So
You
we're
just
back
don't
to
like
this.
me like that?
I Zinnia waits, I think, an uncomfortable amount of time for both of them, sort of cycling through what to say, because the truth is too hard for them to grasp enough to give to somebody else. So I think they sort of go with asking more questions. How do you want me to feel about any of this?
I don't want to tell you how to feel, Zinnia. I mean, how pathetic is that? I gotta tell someone I like to...
Like?
I'm an open book, Zin. I'm an open book, but there are parts of that book, I guess, pages that are glued together, pages I've ripped out. Pages filled with words that don't make sense to anyone else but the person that wrote them. And you're the only one that gets those pages, I guess. Because yeah, I'm an open book. Everyone knows who I was before the fucking world ended and my whole big, boring story, but you're the only one that knows how I feel about those things. And you know, I've got nothing. I've got nothing. I've got no one outside of the tears. Fuck, even before the tears, I got nothing going on for me. And I know, post-scattering, orphans, and people whose family members are all dead, we're a dime a dozen. Some of them I mourn, some of them I'm glad they're dead. But either way, I've got nothing and no one. Except for the tears. I mean, that's why I'm here. I never got to decide how I could live back when I had a life. And when the world ended, I did what everyone else just had to do. I had to survive. There was no other choice. So when I got off world, I thought I'd finally have a chance to actually live. But it's just like Jack said. Every planet is Keseki. Same old shit everywhere else. Because of the Lords. Because of the Galactic Council. But with the tears, there's a promise there. That I made myself, a promise there that they have. That I haven't found anywhere else. Which is I decide when and how I get to live with them. And when and how I get to die. That's why I chose this mission. That's why I'm here. This is my life. This is what I want. Cards on the table. That's who I am. And you know me. I'm shit at bluffing.
You are. Is infuriating as you can be. I enjoy having you around. I do. And I think she fiddles with that ring again. There's a lot with me that I don't know if I can or should give to anyone. And I mean, you know a little bit. Some. You know names, I guess. You've heard me say them in a nightmare or two.
Yeah.
I just don't know if you necessarily should be stuck.
Stuck what?
With, and I think like she gets frustrated and like moves away a little physically herself just to have to say it. Bad things tend to happen around me.
Well, have you met me? Bad shit happens around me too, Sin. Fuck, bad shit happens around all of us. What, you think I can't handle myself? If I knew
It's not.
Whatever it is that you're not saying?
It's not that. It's not. Things that don't. Have you ever met or known somebody in your life that you thought was going to be there forever? Someone who it almost felt ordained by fate that they were going to be in your life forever and you had to watch them die.
Oh. Did that... I see. No, I can't say I felt that way. But it's not because I haven't lost people. It's not because I haven't been sad about losing people. I guess it's 'cause fate. I don't know if I believe in fate. Everything I see around me, everything that's happened, that's not fate, that's people. You know?
Yeah. People can alter the course of a lot of things.
What does that have to do with... Zin, you're still not telling me anything about yourself. Cards on the table, that's who I am. And even now, I haven't told anyone else what I've told you, ever. And I'm not saying you owe me information about yourself, but if that's the way it is, then just let me know so I can get it and move on. Because I don't know if you trust me at all. Because I trust you, Zinnia. I like you, sure, and that's embarrassing to say. But more than that, I trust you.
Zinnia looks away, I think, when the word trust is brought up. They reach for their shirt. They slowly put their shirt on. And I think they look Libra in the eyes. I had a family. We came to Kesike. All of them died. They hold and gesture to this ring. The first of anything I've ever had. My first everything. It's right here. And I get up and leave.
Wait, Zinnia, But you're gone. Seinen.
Mm-hmm.
Over the course of this next week, you figuring out the limits or lack thereof of your form that has always been there ever since that faded, profane day. Underneath the shell of what used to be that tree on the Lodestar Steading. You spend the week watching Nova, watching them forge connections, spend time with other members of the Tears of Fuyumi. You spend this week feeling that burr stuck underneath your soul, right next to where your heart beats, pumps blood, remembers what it used to be like to pump blood. And eventually, we find you in the midst of a foraging expedition with the rest of the Tears here in the highlands of this prefecture, among large rounded piles of dust that pose a heretical mimicry of what snow used to be. You find yourself in Ozelise's proximity. They too are contributing to the work of foraging, looking for anything, everything that might be useful. Tools, yes, but most importantly, food, liquid, water, nutrients. And you can feel that burr, that hope, that endless, seemingly endless well of light within you that you've been trying and trying to pour into Azali's raid, to present to them over and over again, thinking of different tactics, different strategies, trying anything and everything at your disposal to get them to look at you in the way you want them to look at you. And it is here that you attempt something you've not tried before. Something that you know, that you hope will finally get Azali's raid to see you. And on that, we're going to go to break. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break. So enjoy the word from sponsor Connie. Go hydrate, go stretch your bodies, go eat some food, go limber yourself up, and we will be back in just about 10 minutes to finish out the back half of last week's stream. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Bisho. Transplay nerds, you know what time it is. Sponsor Connie time. For Arc 4, we're collaborating with the Working Families Party, who are building a multiracial coalition of working class people to make our communities a better place to live for everyone. You might be thinking, why does a political party care about a queer tabletop show? As it turns out, the Working Families Party believes in the power of fandom to effect positive political change in the real world. So do we. As a Transplay nerd, you're no stranger to just how political our show can be and how our stories are never just fiction. In fact, let's take an action together right now by signing a petition by the Working Families Party to break up big media companies. This cause means a lot to us personally, as indie actual play performers fighting censorship, telling authentic stories, and resisting authoritarianism. Go to bit.ly/WFPtrans and add your name to the list. By signing this petition, you will join the Working Families Party's mailing list and receive opportunities to help them organize, educate, and fundraise. So let's build a better future together. Howdy, Transplay nerds. It is, once again, Sponsor Connie time. Arc 4 is proudly sponsored by Hero Forge, a website where you can design and print your very own custom miniatures. But you already knew that, didn't you? Because the spectacular Hero Forge has sponsored us every single arc so far. We've stuck together through all sorts of exciting updates, like Hero Forge Pro, statuettes, color-printed plastic, premium plastic, but now, it's time. It's time for one of the most exciting Hero Forge updates ever. Custom dice. Hero Forge is now offering 3D printed custom dice, where you can put literally anything into the clear material of the die. Each die is printed in the same layers as the item or character bust inside of it, resulting in a solid, perfectly weighted chunk of math rock. You decide the size, color, and shape of your die, the size and color of the numbers on top, and, of course, what the die contains.
Put a frog in it.
Don't die-lay. Visit bit.ly/transforge to design your very own custom miniature or custom dice today. Hello, everypony, and welcome back to the back half of the stream for last week. What is that, a mindfuck? Before we get back into content warnings, as you may have noticed, Dare has had to step away for the rest of the stream due to a scheduling thing. So we have a big goodbye. We love you, Dare, in the chat briefly, as they sadly will not be able to join us for introductions. But we will be plugging fair things at the end, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, we're going to get right back into the session with a reminder of content warnings. So as always, the Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy actual play series that deals with content that may be triggering for some viewers. So content warnings for the back half of this episode may include fantasy violence, grief, complex relationships, survival and scarcity, environmental collapse, apocalypse, guns as weaponry, classism, youth in dangerous situations, and references to the loss of children and loved ones. No youth will be harmed in this episode. If you're in the Twitch chat, you can use !CW to get a look at these content warnings at any time. And if you are in YouTube Live, then our incredible mods have been copying and pasting these content warnings in the chat. So just open up the chat window and take a look at chat history to see what is going on. And with that out of the way, let's get back into the session. All right, let's begin. Zan and Ozel. During your second week of travel with the Tears of Fuyumi, you find yourself observing the connections that the rest of your strike team are forging with the Tears of Fuyumi. You find yourself pushing the limits, or rather the lack thereof, of this new body of yours, now that you understand where it came from and what it means. And of course, you find yourself looking at Ozel's raid. In every dust-eaten scar on their body, in every hard set of their jaw, every dead-eyed gaze, you see your own failure. A failure to save them from this fate. A failure to save the rest of your family from death and worse. A failure to save your world from this. It's not just the scars across Ozel that sink into you, but the scars in the land itself. As you journey northward, the large piles of dust that should be snowbanks, the withered, crooked husk of trees that should be tall spruces, evergreen pines, the dilapidated shells of houses that used to lie here, that should have stood tall and in community with each other, built in patterns that meant something, that had a history, but more than that, a future. And so every time that you had attempted to reach out to Ozel, a hand outstretched, yes, to find the soft palm that you were used to, but in addition to that, more than that, to pull that palm out of a raging dust storm. So far, your attempts have failed. The hope you have tried to pour into that seamlessly bottomless well that is Ozel's raid has only been met with more and more and more heaviness, more burrs underneath your tongue, more exhaustion. And so, it is with your latest and greatest attempt to not just connect with Ozel's raid, but to save Ozel's raid, that we find you in this moment. You and Ozel, and everyone else, have been for the past hour or so paused along your journey to do the very important work of foraging. Rations are slightly low, and more importantly than that, liquid is scarce. All around you are hilly banks of dust as you move amidst the long, decrepit ruins of what used to be an alpine, snowy village. Now, there are barely the skeletons and bones of long, rotted buildings, crates that have been broken open by weather or animals or other unlucky survivors before you. But this place is as good as any place else to find life-sustaining food, water, and tools. It is one of the rare activities that Ozzel's raid also participates in, fully, and without any hesitation. It is the one thing that, if only briefly, stills their never-wavering northward gaze. Not because they want to, not because they even think it's important, but because they need to feel their body so it can do what they have to do. How do you approach Ozel as the two of you and everyone else picks through the remains of this village?
Do you ever have someone in your life, like it was ordained by fate, that you thought would be there forever? And then you have to watch them leave. And then you have to watch them leave. And then you have to watch them leave. What are you supposed to do when your world ends? Zan and Esh came to Keseki looking for endings, to stories that he saw when he slept, to the tales that are wrought in his bones. And here they are, alive. And Zynon remembers all the ways that they fought. The four of them, as much as they loved each other, they were complicated people. The one thing he hasn't tried, something that he used to do all the time but seems so distant now, is just tell them everything. Pour it all out, like they used to, sitting under a blanket of endless stars. He can give that a go and maybe peel back a little bit of time off of himself. A little bit of time. Give it back to them. And so while they're out foraging, he just starts talking. He expects them to say nothing. He's accustomed to it at this point, even if it hurts. And when it comes to actually speaking those words for the first time, he realizes that he has rusted the hinges of his doors a little. It is hard to make them budge, because these doors have not opened for anyone. Not in a decade. And finally, in blissful silence for once, he just says, you know, the dust caved in the dining room first, after you left. We held out as long as we could. Honestly, well, we almost did leave to follow you. I buried her under the tree. And I died there. I did. He gives up any pretense of foraging. But the same way Zinnia got here, through some complicated, so complex that describing it feels impossible. I was saved. I was dead, and I was saved. I went to this place beyond, and he looks up to the hole in the sky. Not a hole at all, an ending. Where that made sense. Where Zinnia is from. I thought you all had died. I thought everything here had died, and I guess I was kinda right. And there's a barb in that, as he finally looks at them again, aware of how silent it still is. Silent as a grave. I thought I was up in the stars, waiting for you all. But my mom, my emo weren't there. None of you were. She wasn't. So I got by. Not well. You know me. I always needed you. That's how I met the rest of Nova. We worked together. We've been through a lot. But I brought them down here because I don't know if you've noticed, but they're unique. All three of them. Powerful, strong, smart, clever, capable. We're down here because I had hope in finding you. And here you are, kicking dust. Shooting at what? The sky? It's fine, you ain't gotta talk to me. I'm not going anywhere. Can't even shoot it out of me. I just need to know you're all right. Even if it means when we get out of here, you never speak to me again. Because I need you to have more after this. It's all I ever wanted for any of us. For her.
You got out. You were saved. You found others. Had a second chance. Good for you. So what? I don't care. You say you're here to save me. You have no idea what you're talking about. I'm the one that's been here while you were gone. So either live here in this world or stay out of my way. I don't need your help. I don't want your help. I lived without it. For this long. This is not help you offer. It is fruitless distraction at best. And a pointless death from those who have to come in and bail you out of your mistakes at worst. So stay out of the way.
That deep well of hope. That place of verdant and beautiful life that Zion has been clinging on to. He watches it get sucked into an endless void, an oblivion that he has no control over. And he nods. And for the first time since seeing them 2 weeks ago, he lets them walk out of his sight.
Seir, this week, as you train Bug, as you ruminate over the answer that your student seeks, as you notice Zion not breathing again, Lumira spending time with the archive crew, learning how to shoot, from Libra now too. And as you ask Bug to perform apparently arbitrary activities to gauge its natural talents, its skills, its desires, as you mirror what the great huntress did for you and what you now do for them. We find you and Bug by Nose Mama's side. During one of several now more frequent breaks along this hike, the higher dust content of this prefecture, especially closer to the ground, means that Nose Mama's scales get more easily and frequently and deeply inundated with particulates. And we find Bug with their classic rusty spoon helping Nose Mama clean between those scales. They're crouched down, now getting in between Nose Mama's front toe claws, scraping out chunks of dirt as an equestrian might, taking the dirt off of a horse's hooves. Clumps of dust just fall to the ground. That is where you find Bug. At the end of your tinkering and your experimenting, and the beginning of something new. Of the start of an answer you hope, Bug, with more concrete and tangible guidance, will be able to carve out for themselves. Bug is crouching down, their back is to you as you approach. Nose Mama's letting out satisfied groans as Bug cleans between her toes.
That's right, Nose Mama. Don't worry. I got you.
Is she in a lot of pain?
Oh, hi, Seir. Nah,
Hey.
she's okay. It's just kind of annoying for her, you know? Like how if you get stuff underneath your nails.
Yeah. That's not comfortable at all. And Seir has both of his hands shoved into his pockets. They have burns on them from his late night activities with the watchful eyes of the Oracle, using high temps of fire to forge something or Bug. But it's missing something. He's gotten the key important detail that Bug needs. Reach. Space. But something about it just doesn't seem like Bug. Yet. Because Seir remembers the day that Artemis handed him patience and violence into his young teenage hands. And he clasped his hands around it. It felt right. Like everything made sense. He knew instinctively how to move with it, even if his form was clumsy at first. Even if he still had ways to go, it still felt right. But for Bug, what attachments could he make for this? It must feel right. Because this is something they'll carry with them forever, right? So Seir crouches by Bug, watching Nose Mama. Is Nose Mama nicer to me now? Is she fine with my approach?
So the thing about Nose Mama is, even the day that she almost trampled and killed you, as soon as Bug interceded and made it clear that you were not a threat, she was completely disinterested in you. So she doesn't seem to harbor any hostility or any feelings at all about you.
Great.
She is
Great.
primarily concerned with Bug and Bug alone.
Need some help?
Actually, yeah, she's got a lot of scales, and she's starting to shed a little. So if some of them fall off, don't get alarmed. That's normal.
I'll try not to get alarmed, Cricket. Yikes. All right. And he goes and ruffles Bug's head and goes, anything will do? His hand's okay? Should I use my...
A spoon!
And
Here, I have a spare.
where do you find all... Never mind. And he takes a spoon and he thinks about as he's approaching the side of Nose Mama, looking at this spoon and thinking, how does this child have not one but multiple pieces of silverware when we can barely find utensils or anything out here? It's a wonder. And
Almost as
he
though reading your
goes-
mind, as
Oh,
you
go
start
ahead.
as you start to detail Bug Mama's scales, Bug says, I said Bug Mama. As you start to detail Nose Mama's scales, Bug says,
I just like spoons. I don't know. I like their shape. I collect them all the time. Before I joined the Tears, that was the one thing I kept for myself that wasn't just food or water or something I could use to protect myself or cover myself or keep myself warm or cooler, depending on how cold or warm it got, was spoons. I just like them. I think they look kind of neat.
Sayer's detailing Nose Mama's scales at one point, and he's like getting to a particularly difficult area, and something dawns on him. Something he hasn't quite asked Bug. It sits there like a bird in the back of his jaw. Had no one else in the Tears said anything, he hoped at some point someone would illuminate him. How did Bug get here? How did Bug get to Nose Mama? And he like scrapes off a bit of dust, debris, before kind of like looking at Bug through part of Nose Mama, like to the side of Nose Mama, and Sayer says, "Hey, Cricket,
Yeah?
when and how did you meet Nose Mama? Were you always together?"
No. No, I met Nose Mama, I don't know, a long time ago, but we weren't always together. Actually, all of this stuff happened when I was really young. I don't know how old I was, just young, like really young, real small. Maybe, I don't know, 3 or 6? Somewhere in between that. I don't really remember what the world was like before all of this. The dust is basically all I've ever really known. I had
Okay.
parents, I think. I don't really remember them either. I was really young when they died. Maybe only like a little bit after all of this started. But my parents, pretty early on, they joined up with a larger group of people, I think. Because it was just my parents, just the 3 of them and me for a little while. And then there was a lot of people around me. I do remember that. It was just us, and then there was a lot of people. And we were moving with all of the bunch of other people, and I felt really safe with all of the other people. But then my parents died. I think someone killed them. Yeah, that was bad. But I didn't see what happened. I wasn't there when it happened. And then a few years later, I was maybe like 11 or 12. I don't really know. I fell down a big hole. And I got separated from everyone else. They couldn't find me. I couldn't find them. But Nose Mama was down in that hole, and she's taken care of me ever since. She had several other babies at the time, but they're all dead now too. It's just us.
And Sayer is overwhelmed with emotion. He stops detailing Nose Mama's scales the second he hears "my parents are dead." And he turns fully to face Bug when he says that Nose Mama's kids are dead. So much death in this place. Sayer walks on over to Bug, puts a hand on their head, kind of like bonks their head with his forehead. Hey. You're a good kid, you know that?
Thanks. Everyone keeps saying so I guess I am.
You need to work on your footwork, though, but other than that, you're doing pretty great and decent. All.
You know what? I think maybe we should switch positions. Yeah, I think I should clean her scales, and you should totally clean her talons for the first time. You know, she definitely won't rip your arm off.
I'll let the expert handle that, right?
Okay, fine. I guess I'd be pretty sad if you lost your arms.
Hey, I'd be a really bad teacher if I lost my arms.
Nah, you'd still kick ass without them.
You have so much faith in me. And Sarah will continue detailing Nose Mama's scales.
As you scrape under one particularly large and hardy scale, sure enough, very easily, it just falls off. It comes
Shit.
out of Nose Mama's body and it plops down right in your hand that had been holding it steady.
Shit. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I told you it happens. She's shedding.
Oh, you got a big one.
How does Nose Mama's scales look? For science.
They are quite large. Not super large, but about the size of maybe the head of a shovel. And just as hard as you hold this scale, you notice that there's a little bit of an indentation. It's shaped like a spade, like a triangle, and there's a sharp, pointy end.
Seir runs his fingers along the scale, knocks his knuckles against the hardiness of the scale, kind of like tries to bend it a little bit. Hey, Nose Mama. Think you can have this? I guess she doesn't care.
Yeah, she doesn't care. You can keep that if you want.
Well, it's not for me. And he smiles mischievously at Bug. I think you can handle the rest, right?
Yeah, I got it. Slacker.
Okay. Then you know better than to be like me, right? And then he hands the other spoon back. And Seir will tap the scale against his palm. He's found exactly the piece he needs.
Lumira, over the course of your second week of travel with the Tears of Fuyumi, you mostly keep to the archival crew that you've gotten to know quite well over this fortnight. Saral, of course, and Dr. Wu. Though you also make sure to observe the rest of the Tears. Keep your eye on them, notice the dynamics and personalities playing out as time unfolds. You speak, of course, to Libra, learn a few more shooting tips from them, are a little bit more distant away from Zynon. And as for Yingha, the two of you keep each other company, even more than the rest of Nova does. You sleep near her at night. She often finds you when everyone else is working and foraging and likes to work next to you and beside you. And in strict polar opposite to how close you are with Yinghe is how you conduct yourself around Ozeli's raid. Or rather, how far away you stay from Ozeli's raid. And the interesting thing about that, Lumira, is they stay far away from you, too. It's unmistakable that it's specifically you. And the reason behind it, you figure out almost instantly. How could you not? You're so perceptive. It comes the very first time Zynon interacts with you in front of everyone else. This interaction was nothing remarkable, a very common dynamic between the two of you. Him stopping by, imparting a word or two, looking out for you. Something about the way you should wear a scarf around your mouth to help protect against the breeze, the dust. And as he stepped away, you saw it. No, you felt it. A gaze on you from the side, and you had caught that dark amber eye, peering out from a scarred face. But the look on Ozelisa's raid as they watch Zynon treat you as though you were his daughter is not distant malice or focus or anything else that they so easily and readily wear, but something you recognize very intimately as a healer. Unbearable pain. I cannot stand to look at you. And so as you give them a wide berth, so too do they give you. We find you next to Saral during the very unenviable task of breaking open the rocks that you had foraged almost 2 weeks ago at this point that still contain some degree of liquid inside of them. And using a very interesting contraption that Saral says is a blend of something they were able to keep from the Tears' stockpile off-world, and on-planet resources scavenged by Jack. And Jack, ever the genius mechanic, had managed to put together a kind of device that is able to extract some degree of liquid from the rock. So the task has fallen to you and Soral to sift through the crumbled remains of said rock and use the device to try to extract liquid outward and place it through a syringe into various pouches for water collection. And as you busy yourself alongside Soral, you notice them looking at you, kind of curiously, interestedly, from the side of their eye, as though they want to say something, but they're trying to figure out the best way to broach the topic.
Speech your truth, Sorrel.
I'm being that obvious, huh?
You've been staring at me weird for the last 5 minutes now.
Oh,
Just
not
spit it
weird.
out.
I just... it's just... Well... I've been thinking about what you said a few days ago. About... not really remembering where you're from. Does that mean... you don't really know too much about... well, I guess... and they gesture broadly at the world. Not just Keseki, but... the system?
Lumiere doesn't confirm or deny that at all. I think talking about her is not what she's here for right now. And this is... she's been feeling that eye of Ozel burning through the back of her neck. Every single step that she takes around this place. And it burns even worse when she's anywhere near Zynon. So she's trying... it's complicated.
Right. I understand that. But this is something I've been kind of talking to Dr. Wu about is, I mean, if you're interested, I don't want to come off as presumptuous or anything like that, but I'd be happy to share what I know, what we know about, I guess, the Lords. The galactic ones, I mean. And other details that someone who may not have, or may not have much recollection may appreciate or find interesting.
Okay.
Okay, then. I guess that's a kind of ham-fisted way for me to say I'm always here to tell you anything you might want to know. No question is too simple. To know your enemy is to know how to defeat them, after all. And all of us should have access to that knowledge.
That rings true for Lumira. And I think this is probably the first time in a little bit that you legitimately get something remotely similar to a gentle smile. Because that's exactly how she operates. Knowledge and preparedness means protection, means plans, means contingency plans, and contingency plans for contingency plans. If there is any place right now that you should be prepared in, it's here. So, tell me about the Lords here.
And a big smile spreads across Soral's face as they gather up the energy to do that which they love to do the most. Talk about stuff. And Soral says, well, first of all, there are 5 lords, always have been,
for as long as, well, certainly I've been around, but for a really, really long time. There are 5 galactic lords, and together they comprise the Galactic Council. It's the people that rule the galaxy, I guess. They control the galaxy. They make all the laws, and they tell people how to follow them. That sort of thing. Of the 5 galactic lords that currently exist, Lord Prima Raja Yowang is the youngest. She is the heir to Raja Yowang Kor, which, as the hyphenation suggests, is a fusion of 2 already extremely powerful and wealthy families. 3 years ago, Prima's parents unseated the previous galactic lord, a woman called Aveen Karai, and they installed Prima as Raja Yowang Kor's representative on the Galactic Council. At the time, Prima was 18 years old. She's 21 now. So, really young. But she's already been making big moves in the space, I guess trying to prove that they're not to be messed with. And Lumira, you recognize the name of Raja Yowang. You remember it from 2 different places. One, the video transmission that you had received on the Apani Kestrel before it crash landed and you arrived on Keseki. And of course, on an old rusted sign in Hane Cove.
You know, that one sounds kind of familiar. I think I remember seeing a sign outside of a place where we took shelter when we first got here.
Oh, I'm not surprised. All of the lords are everywhere, on every world. Their reach is basically inescapable. Raja Yowang Kor, well, I guess all of the lords control corporations and conglomerates that are rather diversified, but some of them have a little bit of a predilection toward one industry or sector or another. Raja Yowang Kor is quite diversified, but they are rather powerful when it comes to, I suppose, mining, drilling, energy sources, that kind of thing.
Resources.
Yes, exactly. Though all of them do that. That's not special about Raja Yowang. They just like to make the things that do the extraction, if that makes sense. They control a lot of the supply chain.
Well, it's good to know that there's friends in high places. She says extremely sarcastically.
Though, speaking of folks in high places, another member of the Galactic Lords is Lord Musa Dade. He is the CEO of Dade Technologies, and I think he is, of all of them, probably the most full of himself, which is already a really high bar when it comes to the Lords. He's this, self-proclaimed technocrat, and really thinks of himself as, a genius or whatever. It's, I don't know, really, actually. He defines it differently every time he gives one of his 10-hour-long live stream talks. Yeah. It basically means he's a rich guy with a lot of technology. And he's super into, what does he call it? Bio-innovation? Basically, he's on a quest for eternal life. He thinks that technology, nanobots, medicinal and pharmaceutical advancements and innovations can one day defeat death. Conquer the concept of oblivion, I guess.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
I know, right? But he's been pouring a lot of money into, extending a person's lifespan, specifically his own. The guy is obviously terrified of dying. But what makes him the most annoying is he constantly says he doesn't actually care about money, and he only cares about scientific advancement and stuff. But I guarantee you take away his money, he's gonna care.
There's things about science that I really enjoy. Deeply.
Me too.
Care for it. And it's not just because it's fun experimentation. It's because it actually matters. It means something. It's like numbers. It doesn't change based off of what you feel about it. It doesn't move based off what you want to happen. It's just cause and effect. Action, reaction. Simple. You don't bastardize the purity and the honesty of science for your own personal gain. So busy worried about whether or not you could do it and never actually thinking about whether or not you should fucking do it in the first place.
I
That's the
completely
problem I
agree
have.
with you. He is absolutely the biggest representation of probably the worst way you could tackle science and innovation and technology in the first place. And he says it's for the betterment of everyone in the galaxy, but we all know that's a load of crap. Even so, the tech he produces is threatening sometimes. We really had to bulletproof our meeting place before we got here against Dade spyware specifically. I mean, despite how arrogant Musa is, the employees in his various conglomerates do tend to be really smart engineers and researchers.
I haven't met me yet.
You're right.
I'm not laughing.
Or me. Oh, I'm not laughing either.
I appreciate this little talk.
Yeah, you're really
Enlightening.
welcome. There are 3 more Galactic Lords, and they all suck, too.
What's new?
There's, Lord Bellier Ego. He also goes by the Gentleman Pirate. He owns Ego Securities. He's ruthless, really. Cares very little about anything else aside from just amassing wealth and power. And he is the most blatant about it, I think. Even compared to the other lords, he doesn't even try to pretend he's about anything else. And he's got a ton of criminal and black market connections that break the very laws he himself has written, but, you know, no one's powerful enough to stop him, and those who are right in cahoots with him. He's got this really recognizable logo, too. It's this 2-headed sea serpent. And Lumira.
I was just about to ask.
Absolutely, you recognize that description. It flashes into your mind's eye. It was stamped on the side of the Apani Kestrel, on the side of the ship that belonged to Dom's contact.
I think I've seen that before too.
Again,
She
I'm not
doesn't say much
surprised.
more about that either, but you can tell she's ruminating. In the back of her mind, she's like, I have to speak to Seir.
Yep. Saral goes on to say,
And then, of course, there's Lord Lux Ieko. Of all the lords, I guess she's the most exuberant, just flippant and luxurious and hedonistic. You know, he owns
Even
a
through all of
personal.
this?
Well, yeah. Lord Ieko isn't here. She's off partying all the time on her personal mega aero yacht the size of a small city. It's like infamous. The party literally never stops on that thing.
Lumira can't fix her face to hide her disgust.
And in terms of specializations, well, Lux Ieko is the pharmaceutical industry. So in this system, if you've ever taken a painkiller or gotten your blood drawn, yep, you've walked right through Lux Ieko's supply chain.
More bastardization of science. Lovely.
That's right. seems to be a recurring theme here. Buta's people, back on the Isthmus, they had an Ieko brand transport ship. Jack identified it almost immediately as soon as it flew overhead. That's what we followed. That's how we found you.
Yeah, I remember them talking to me about it a little bit previously. But I didn't know it was that specific. They said it was a good one, but...
Yeah, I mean, Ieko's main thing is pharmaceuticals and the medical industry, but like I said, every lord has a finger in every pie. Oh, and speaking of being a generalist, there's our fifth and final lord, Lord Hanako Zuma. In contrast to Prima, Hanako is the galactic lord that has held her seat on the council the longest. I guess she's the veteran lord out of all of them. Despite power grabs and power shifts and the changing political landscape, Hanako Zuma has been a galactic lord for decades. She's not flashy, she stands out the least, but honestly, for that reason, I think she's the most dangerous.
Hiding in plain
She runs...
sight.
That's right. And there's got to be a reason she stayed around for so long, right? She's always held her seat, even when every single other person on the council has been booted out or supplanted in some way.
That means she's the one that holds the actual power.
Perhaps. Maybe she just knows how to survive. At the very top of the food chain instead of the bottom of it.
I just think they're fine-tuner of some good strings. But if there's anything that history has taught us time and time again, is that what's done in the dark will always come to light, and reigns never last for as long as they think they will. Bigger they are, the harder they fall.
That's right. So, those are all the lords. And as for Zuma's relationship to this mission, the shuttle that we're after, that we know for a fact belongs to Buta Erebor, is a Zuma craft. The Nomad 4. That was made by her company.
And those are the ones that are strongest to get out of the system itself, correct?
That's right. Only shuttle-grade ships can escape Keseki's atmosphere at this point in its lifespan. Which is to say, I guess, the tail end of its lifespan.
Is there anything else that I should know about in relation to the Five Lords, or anything interesting about Keseki? Think that ties into this at all? Things that stick out?
I would say that ultimately, no matter each of the lords' particular personalities, their specific goals and motivations, their unique strengths and weaknesses, at the end of the day, they have to be destroyed. We have to take different tactics, maybe, to destroy each of them, to overcome walls of one, dig under the valleys of others. But I, and many of the rest of the Tears, we cannot fathom a future in which galactic lords can even happen in the first place. Because to get there, so many people have to die. And be exploited. And live terrible lives. And we don't want that.
We can't have it. Well, one thing about these lords is while they may have power and access, things that we may not have currently right now, or may not have access to, and possibly may never, at least to their heights of access. But what I like to remember and tell myself consistently, at the end of the day, darling, we are all but flesh, bone, and blood. No one can escape nature or the journey.
Strike Team Nova. Your second week of travel with the Tears of Fuyumi draws to a close. And on the dawn of your 16th day together, the craggy slopes of Sumatay that have penned you in this entire time briefly come apart, like the curtains of a grand stage, to reveal a sweeping vista in the near distance. Once upon a time, this vista would have been broken up by trees and shrubs and snow and neon greenery, but now there is only low-lying rock and earth and dust. And you see it, with the howling wind high above your heads and the rest of the planet at your back. You see it. It is a quarter mile ahead of you, at the very end of a dirt path that was once lined by crimson alpine grass. The garden. And we're going to end the session there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the back half of the previous stream. This was Arc 4 episode 22. Let's do some much deserved outroductions. Dare isn't here, so I will plug Dare's things at the end of our round of outroductions here. So I'm gonna pass things over to Val.
Hi folks, I'm Valiant Dorian. I use he and his pronouns. You can find me all across the internet at Valiant Dorian or at also Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure hunt I just set you on. And in terms of stuff to plug, well, my Kickstarter is still going. We're now funding for our first ever stretch goal of $2,500 for us to get additional art for the game that will come out at the end of the show. So if that's something you're interested in, please continue supporting us. And of course, there's going to be some announcements coming out soon about my next project, about werewolves and charity and good old violence against your maker. But keep your eyes peeled on that. And speaking of violence, Kai?
You are muted.
You're muted, baby.
No! Oh, my mute button is failing me today.
Homophobic.
I know. Hi, everybody. I'm Kai. You can find me everywhere as Estelle of M. Ladris, where I'm a TTRPG performer, game designer, and I do a lot of other gay criming like I did today. Very, very soon, for those of you who will be at MagicCon Las Vegas, literally next weekend, I will be there all weekend playing Magic. And also, if you want to come and actually see me in person, I'll be running a one-shot of Dungeons & Dragons, specifically Strixhaven, at MagicCon at the Red Bull Tavern. So on Saturday, so come say hi, sign up. The signups are free to come and sit at my table. We're going to go to Strixhaven together. It's going to be such a good time. And I'll see you all there. And you know, this is such a nice time. All right, Sam, what you got?
Hello, hello. It is me once again, Sam Star, being Lumira. What an episode. Currently I'm doing this. There's a couple of other things that are currently in the mix and the making right now. Not too much can be said about it just yet. I'm trying to figure out ways how to talk around it without talking through it. But it's just a fun little project. You can follow me on the interwebs, and most specifically where the butterflies do fly blue, Lust for Life X. Yeah, hell, take us home, boss.
It's me, Boss, taking us home, first of all, with a plug for Dare. Dare is an incredible tabletop performer extraordinaire and game designer. You can follow her across the internet at Dare to Dream RPG. The 2 in that is the number 2, prominently on Blue Sky and Itch.io. And she has an incredible new project that she has just launched with fair partner Quinn B. Rodriguez, whom many of you will remember from The Second Stranger as our very own Sitlali, last name redacted for spoiler reasons. But this is a podcast called Sapphics at the Cinema, kind of like Panic at the Disco is kind of like the convention. So go check out Sapphics at the Cinema, run by Dare and Quinn, where it is a film review podcast where co-hosts Dare and Quinn explore the big world of film and enjoy all the wonderful lesbian art along the way. They currently have a special preview episode out about Bound, which is like such a great way to start off a lesbian film review series. The 1996 film Bound. I have feelings about that film as well, and I'm very excited to listen to that episode myself. So go check it out. It's very gay, and there's a hot butch in it. Is all I'll say. As for myself, you can follow me across the internet at ByConnieChang, ByConniechang. And now some stuff about chaos. So keeping in line with our more relaxed production schedule, as our dramaturg continues to heal up and is reaching a nice milestone, actually, in their arm healing process, our next chaos stream will be in 2 weekends. That is Saturday, May 9th at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time, right here on Twitch and YouTube Live. So please join us then for the next installment of Chaos. Even though our next Chaos stream is 2 weeks away, we're still going to be streaming next weekend. That is Saturday, May 2nd with... Oh! I'm seeing head shakes. That's not happening. Never mind. We're taking next weekend off. There's nothing happening then. So enjoy this coming week. We're gonna be taking it off. I'm seeing the cues from backstage. Okay, heard. But in the meantime, you can support our show by joining our Patreon, joining and participating in our Discord, making fan works if you are so inspired, posting about Transplaner on Blue Sky, Instagram, or Tumblr, rating our podcast, buying merch from our merch store, and most importantly, telling someone else about the channel. Your friends, your family, your homoerotic enemy, your situationship who trusts you, but you don't know if you trust them, your gay little mentee with a lot of traumatic family history, the daughter that you had and you picked her up, and you both have daughters. The guy who is a walking ghost who doesn't open up to his family, the person on some sort of revenge quest or something, your barista, your dog, your cat, your horse, and most importantly, your parakeet. Thank you so much, Transplaners. We will see you in 2 Saturdays, May 9th at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time right here on Twitch and YouTube Live. And in the meantime, Shbijo Bijo.